What up, guys? James from Bolt Bros here. Hey, just wanted to be able to chat a little bit about our offensive rookies after week one, kind of the first impression of them, and kind of just dig in a little bit more about what we saw at training camp. So, once again, guys, let's get into it.
Bolt Bros!
All right, guys, man, training camp once again, fantastic time, guys. It's once again just hanging out with my bros and hanging out with the other bros, meaning as in everybody that said what up to us and just kind of gave us a shout out and everything like that. We appreciate all the love and support there. It's always fun to be at training camp, always fun to be at games, always fun to be at Thunder Alley. Once again, Senior Snappy basically came on our pod on Saturday. Just to let you guys know, there will be a Thunder Alley this year. I know SoFi Stadium's kind of going through a lot of shifting and changings there, so they have plans to where there might not be, tailgating, which would be kind of a bummer to hear. But sounds like this season there will be tailgating. So, but once again, guys, this is a photo from training camp. Shout out Jamal. We just kind of hung out a little bit with the media guys and everything, got a photo and thrown onto the Chargers, photo page and everything too. So very, very fun to be able to be out there and just be able to say what up to everybody out there. So, and meet and greet and everything. So fun times all around. So get out to training camp. There's a lot of dates still available, guys. So get on out there if you can. Excellent time. I did want to just go into our rookies. This is actually just kind of a funny picture for a couple reasons, and I'll show you why. But Quentin Johnson, great player. I cannot say enough about how this pick was phenomenal. I'm going to actually just do one more slide real quick on this same exact photo. Funny thing about it is, if you kind of look at Kyle, he looks a little different, right? Well, he photoshopped himself. Here's the original. Kyle was over here in the left corner, but my bad. I'm sorry. I screwed the photo up. I'm sorry, Kyle. But he he photoshopped himself into there. It looks hilarious. But either which way, Quentin Johnson, I'm just going to say something about this guy. Pick 21, first round draft pick. Last time there was a wide receiver picked at that I know of was Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Gosh, you know who Jetta is, man. That guy is an absolute stud as a wide receiver. And Quentin Johnston, man, he just glides on the field. Now, once again, we're going underwear Olympics at this point. It's just pretty much helmets and shorts, no pads. But gosh, this guy, he glides out there. I mean, he moves fast. I swear, and I was telling my bros, I was like, the thing about Quentin Johnson, I really felt like he's just a half second faster than everybody else. And we'll see kind of where it pans out when pads are on and how it shifts. But man, when he just has that twitchiness after he has the ball in his hands, he just moves. He just seems like he could just go downfield so quickly and turn upfield and just burn everybody. I'm very excited about Quentin Johnson and what a contrast from when we drafted him to learning more about him and how he fits in this team and everything. He is going to be a force. This wide receiving core is going to be insane, guys. I mean, it is unbelievable. And I mean, I'll just even throw other guys out there too. Like Hightower has been doing really well. I mean, this is just going to be an interesting wide receiving core, and it's just going to be a very deep core all around. Tough cuts from the wide receiving side, but to stay on subject, Quentin Johnson is absolutely looking like a home run hit for us. I mean, him with Allen, with Williams, just as a starting core, Josh Palmer. I mean, gosh, this is going to be insane. I mean, he had some great catches. I believe it was on day 2. Point and catch was just phenomenal all around for QJ. He basically had a couple it was a big pass with just Sir Taylor on coverage on QJ that just, gosh, he could just make these catches. I mean, he is going to be an absolute force for Justin Herbert. I mean, Justin Herbert was bombing the ball out like crazy on day 1, day 2. Day 3 was a little bit less. But, QJ has the ability to be able to do, specifically, there was a quick pass to the right with Allen on the block. Basically, it was just a small screen pass to the right. once again, we don't have pads or anything, but this was a massive, massive play. And difference from last year, I felt like there was something off on the blocking schemes and not putting players in the right position, plus not really having as much speed. But it was a quick pass to the right. Quentin Johnson got it. And once again, his quick twitchiness of catching the ball and then turning immediately upfield is beyond faster than anybody else on this team. He got this ball and he just, like a rocket downfield, massive, massive play. I felt like last year was like plays like that just got blown up so quickly and it was just over with so fast. It was maybe blocking schemes or not just having enough speed on the team. Quentin Johnson has the ability to be a home run hitter for us. And I am excited about getting Quentin Johnson on the field this year. And obviously, he's had the ability to be able to make a couple massive, massive plays downfield for touchdowns, 50-yard plus from Justin Herbert. I mean, it's going to be awesome to watch this offense all around. So moving on, I could keep raving about Quentin Johnson and what he does, but man, shout out to Quentin Johnson for getting this photo with us. Really appreciate it, my friend, even without Kyle. My bad. All right, let's get another TCU product here. Darius Davis. Darius Davis, very active with the twos, very active on special teams. He was fielding kicks with the other Darius Shepard, for punt return, kick returns. This guy's got a lot of speed. And, it's really cool to be able to see is that he's very active as more of a slot guy than anything. But he is a very quick all around. Obviously, we drafted him as speed, 4.38 kind of guy. This guy can really find a way to find a niche on offense and, special teams specifically. I do think that he's going to be more of a jet sweep kind of guy. I think he could be a shallow route kind of guy for us, a great screen route kind of guy for us, and he'll be a great jet sweep kind of guy. It was interesting. I think it was on Saturday. There was basically like 3 different sweeps right from the get-go, where it was Spiller taking a sweep, Keelan Doss taking a sweep, and Quentin Johnson taking a sweep. It was literally like 3 plays right then and there. A lot of sweeps. Didn't see Darius Davis do a sweep, but it seems like it would be the right guy to be able to do it with the amount of speed with this guy, having the ball in his hands. Let him run because this guy will outrun anybody out in the field. He is just an absolute fast guy. We call him Lightning Bug all the time. And this is kind of like our new Darren Sproles for this team. Excited to be able to see him. And my thing with him is that he's going to do as much damage as he possibly can on special teams. If this guy has an open field, he's going to take it to the house. And I'm excited to be able to see that element with this team because, guys, if you know anything about the history of the Chargers, it has been a long time since we've seen a guy on special teams that could actually take it to the house. I'm thinking in my head, for some reason, I'm thinking Antonio Cromartie might have been the last time that we had a punt return for a touchdown. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's been a very, very long time. And that was probably the last time we really had a guy who could be that home run hitter for us. And Darius Davis out in the field looks great with shallow routes and then crossing routes. He was kind of not much of a downfield guy. There was a couple attempts downfield, but he was working a lot with the 2s and possibly even the 3s too. So Easton Stick was throwing the ball to him. Max Duggan, once again, didn't have a ton of snaps. But it was really, really fun to be able to see this guy out on the field and being very, very active. He's going to do a lot of damage on special teams. So exciting to see. Moving on. Jordan McFadden. It's one thing I'll say this, and I'll admit, I watched too heavily on the offense. I could see them on their side. I was really, really focused to get Jamari Salyer's autograph on my practice jersey of his jersey last year. So I got that, and I did get the jersey signed with Jamari Salyer. So shout out to Jamari, man. It was a really funny story of him just giving the jersey, and then he ended up signing and giving it back to me. So, but I'll say this. One thing I did see Jordan McFadden on field, man, big guy. Big guy. It's interesting. There was one guy walking around there too that had Clemson, gear on. Started chatting with him. He's like, oh man, he's like, I'm a big Clemson guy. Obviously, he's wearing all his gear and everything there, but he's a big fan of Mike Williams and everything. But he said, we brought up about Jordan McFadden. He's like, there's a lot of good guys from the O-line that come from that team. And, I'm excited to see Jordan McFadden more in the preseason side of things because, week one, for the most part, pads, helmet, that's basically it. It doesn't really help too much with the offensive lineman because you don't want to get too physical at that point with those guys. But this guy is a big body guy, and I think he could be a great gap filler. He's definitely going to push to potentially get playing time this year. I don't want it for the reason for injuries, but I think at the same side, he could be a great flex guy for us at the guard base position. So he does have a great build as a body, kind of a button gut kind of guy. And, I'm hoping very, very big things for him. So there is a camp battle involved with a lot of the guard position and depth position with, Hymas and, Jordan McFadden. So excited to see this one play out, and it'll be much more to be able to be seen when the pads do come on. So moving on, Max Duggan, whatever his name. I always say Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but either which way, Max has been out there. He has been playing a lot with, obviously, Justin Herbert, Easton Stick, been there with drills and such too. The big thing is, though, there is a stark difference of talent from 1, 2, and 3 and snaps between 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, you're getting Justin Herbert as many snaps as you possibly can. And then you see Easton Stick get about half the amount of snaps, and then Max basically getting half of what Easton Stick had. So it's kind of a tough thing with Max because, he's only getting maybe about, give or take, 3 to 4 snaps, to be honest, with his set with the third players. He's not getting a lot of snaps by any means, and I wouldn't say that there's something that has been really, really looking great thus far for Max. I think Max is kind of figuring out the position still. Obviously, there's a stark difference of amount of snaps to really give this guy a lot more play time. I did see yesterday, day 3, kind of in the second field, he was out there working with the quarterbacks, kind of working on it's like I think it's kind of like a straddling kind of like a line, or like they had like basically a pad kind of in the middle and just kind of working on their footwork and their stance and running, and then throwing the ball into the net. They also had a lot of on the run throwing and targeting specifically on the targets that they had there. Looked great. Looked good to see. But with Max, I think it's just a hard thing to be able to really give him a grade, or basically to kind of let you know kind of what he's about. But he doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot of snaps to really look at. I'll say this, it's just a lot of players on the field that he's still trying to work with and everything. He did actually work a little bit with Darius Davis from what I remember. I remember seeing him passing to Darius. Obviously, they're very familiar with each other. So, but either which way, Max will be kind of one of those guys that will probably see a lot more in preseason and get a lot more snaps during that time. So excited to be able to see that all around. But that's kind of what we got going on for the offensive rookies thus far. Exciting times, guys. I think this offense could be just one of the most amazing offenses historically. I'm going to throw that out there. Bold prediction. I think they could have a phenomenal offense this year. I'm excited to be able to see Justin Herbert really ball out this year. I do think that these rookies are going to find their great niche. Quentin Johnson, guys, keep an eye on this guy. This guy could be massive for this team and really take the top off on this offense. So once again, guys, appreciate all the likes, support. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Let me know any impressions you saw on offensive players too. Say the undrafted guys, there's not really too much I could really say because it's still, once again, they didn't have a ton of snaps. But appreciate all your guys' support and everything too. And Bo Pros, let's go.